Okay.
Well,
So hello everyone. Yes, we're here. The three of us, we gathered here to talk about orgasmic yoga today. All three of us have been through the sexological bodywork training. And I'm from Singapore. We have Victoria, who is in the US. And then we have John, who is from the UK. So we are in 3 different countries. It's 6:38 a.m. in Singapore now. And Victoria, what time is it for you?
3:38 p.m. Thursday.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's Friday for me.
I'm in the past.
And John?
11:30 p.m. Thursday.
Yes. So thank you for being here. It's very late for you. So let me just introduce you guys, and then we'll talk about what is orgasmic yoga. So Victoria, you see I'm pronouncing your name wrong again. Reuveni. Yeah, she has a PhD and she has a doctorate in human sexuality like myself, and she is LA based. She's a sexological bodyworker, sex educator, and coach working with individuals, couples, and groups to facilitate going deeper in erotic embodiment and self-acceptance through mindfulness, breathwork, and touch. She blogs about sex, kink, gender, and body image, and reviews sex toys. She's a board member and educator with the Center for Positive Sexuality, speaking on panels to university students and professionals about kink and BDSM, non-monogamy, and sex work. She's facilitated over a dozen orgasmic yoga circles, including a 6-week series earlier this year. And in June this year, she will be bringing a 3-evening orgasmic yoga mini series to Sacramento, California, and you can find out more about it by going to her Facebook event, which we will post below. And you can find her at Sexologist Dr. That's VIXENNE.com. Okay, so we'll post all that. And Jon Gosling, he sees himself as a body awakener. He supports people to connect with themselves through the body rather than experiencing primarily through the conditioned mind. And he works with people to use the body as a gateway into new and expanded experiences. He enables them to experience and understand themselves more deeply. He's very passionate about the nurturing power of touch, and is a certified sexological bodyworker, a trained sexologist, and somatic educator, and tantric practitioner and teacher. Impressive. He offers experiential learning opportunities through consciousness that are designed to help individuals to access self-connection, profound erotic and ecstatic states, and if desired, sacred sexuality, allowing them to better express their desires and deepen their erotic capacity. So Jon is offering his one-to-one coaching, especially around orgasmic yoga, and he is also planning upcoming orgasmic yoga classes in Manchester, UK, where he is located. And you can follow him by going to his website, nurturebytouch.org.uk. So for myself. Sorry, say again.
.co.uk.
.co.uk. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so a little bit about myself. I'm a sexologist. I have a doctorate in human sexuality, like Victoria, from the Institute for Advanced Study of Human Sexuality, like Victoria. And we took the Sexological Bodywork program through the Institute. I have been in practice for 7 years in Singapore. I run coaching and I run workshops. I also have my own radio show called Eros Evolution, which I just did a few hours ago. And I have my new telesummit that's actually coming up very soon called Make Love Week. And it's going to be the 14th to the 20th of May. I have 2 books, and the second book is called Orgasmic Yoga, because orgasmic yoga has changed my life, and I wanted to put everything that I have learned into one book. And I started doing this Facebook group called Orgasmic Yoga, the book, and I started to document my 30-day journey inside. And through that, actually met Jon and now Victoria, and we're going to invite all of you to join us on this 30 days orgasmic yoga journey, where I will be encouraging you to masturbate alongside us, share your experiences, and grow a lot. So let's just ask them what is orgasmic yoga, Victoria.
Sure. Hi. So, orgasmic yoga for me is a way to get in touch with yourself in ways you might not do in your usual self-pleasuring practice. Okay, cool. So what is that? It's setting aside the time. So when I do my workshops, it's 45 minutes. When I'm doing my solo practice, it's 30 minutes. It could be any time that you can set aside to use breath, movement, sound, and touch to incorporate your entire body and not just go straight for the genitals, right? We have amazing capacity for pleasure and sensation all over ourselves. So really taking the scenic route rather than rushing to the end. It's cheesy, but that's a big part of what orgasmic yoga is for me.
Great, thank you, John.
Well, beautifully put, Victoria. I have to say that there's not a lot to add to that comprehensive description. But one of the things I really get from orgasmic yoga is letting go of shame. A lot of people associate masturbation with shame, not being good enough, having illicit relief. And for me, the big thing that I've got from orgasmic yoga is actually falling in love with myself, connecting with myself, and finding pleasure in myself. And I find the beautiful gift of orgasmic yoga is that when one can connect with oneself and know how to please oneself, when you then go into a relationship, you've got far more to offer as a result.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Yeah, so when so for me, orgasmic yoga is a spiritual practice that is way more than just masturbation. It's 30 minutes for 30 days, according to Joseph Kramer. It doesn't have to be limited, like Victoria said. Doesn't have to be limited by 30 minutes or 30 days. It's just a recommendation. And I have found that 30 minutes is really a good time to stop. A lot of people want to stop earlier or after they have orgasm or after they have ejaculated. And it's really not about the orgasm. It's more about the orgasmic energy that's running through your body, connecting with your erotic energy, with your sexual energy, with going into a state of meditation, really, because you are going very slowly and you are very aware of what's happening in your body and the subtle sensations in your body. So it's like having gourmet sex rather than fast food sex, and it's all by yourself. And one of the things about orgasmic yoga that has changed my life is, well, because that you cannot run away from yourself in that 30 minutes. Things come up. Mm-hmm. Your resistance, your shame, your guilt, your fears, your anger, your frustrations, your whatever things that you're going through at that point in your life starts surfacing, because that's when the mind starts wandering. But you keep coming back to your body, and as you work through that, your all those energies start shifting, and this is where the opportunity for freedom and pleasure starts coming in, and that's where transformation starts happening. Whenever I do orgasmic yoga, I become very creative during that time and very much more productive as well, because when there is motion, then emotion actually starts surfacing, and with emotion and motion, more motion starts to happen in your life. And so that in a long-winded answer, I guess, is orgasmic yoga for me. When I try explaining it to my clients, some of them don't get it. So I just now say it. Just treat it as a 30 minutes of loving yourself. It's a practice of taking time to love yourself. It's not really about the orgasm. It is about orgasmic energy. And just think of taking some time to love yourself every day, instead of helping people, serving, giving to other people, helping people. It's about giving to yourself first during that time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I would also just add a bit about, it's also taking the time to move away from things like fantasy and watching porn. And those are fantastic. I love, fantasizing about a rendezvous in my past, or watching porn, all kinds. It's like, it's very titillating. We're visual creatures, right? But to take this time and see what you can generate from yourself. So if things come up, like, try to just breathe through it and refocus. But that's not the goal also, I think I've found.
Yes. So let's talk. Sorry, John, do you want to say something?
Yeah, and just picking up on Victoria's point, it's also a good way of noticing about habit, what is habitual in yourself, and what you're drawn to. And it's a fantastic opportunity to connect with new ways of loving yourself as well, and breaking away from habit. And through that, the possibility for expansion is so much greater.
Yeah. So I like to say that if you're going to do something for 30 minutes, for 30 days, you want to do it in different ways. I mean, we get bored. So this is a great time to try different things. And this really helps develop your neuroplasticity in your body. And your body actually becomes more flexible, more adaptable. So I'm very grateful to Joseph Kramer, who has come out with this practice in the Sexological Bodywork program. And he's also the one who founded the Body Electric. So let's talk a little bit about how Orgasmic Yoga has changed our lives.
Breathing. It really has helped me just really connect back to myself. As a sexological body worker, constantly giving, it's amazing, and it's such a high for me to be able to hold that space and facilitate those experiences for people. But if I don't get back to myself and nourish myself, I'm just not able to give. And also not just in my work, but also in platonic relationships, family relationships, and things like that. I get cranky. I get really cranky if I don't sit down and spend time with some sort of a regular practice.
Yeah. It's important to have some alone time, especially when we give so much to people.
Yeah, definitely.
John?
Yeah, I would say that primarily it's me time. It's time for me. And very often in the past, I've looked to others to give me pleasure. And actually, to become the lover I desire is very, very powerful. It's an opportunity to manifest the lover of your fantasies, because you can actually create a lover far more explicit, experimental, wonderful, radiant, spiritual, through these practices. And the way of doing it is not in your head. It's just inhabiting your body and experiencing your body and just opening up. And one of the big influences, and forgive me, Martha, but you are one of my big influences as far as orgasmic yoga is concerned, particularly when I've looked at your chakra meditation and energy orgasm. What a fantastic gift that was to me. Yes, I am a tantric practitioner, but that particular practice that you do, which is one of your most popular YouTube clips, is amazing. And that was one of the big gifts for me in terms of taking that into my regular practice.
Yeah, I learned that practice from Barbara Corellas in Urban Tantra when I was doing the teacher training that she offers. And I did it in one take. I was scared to do it, but I decided to do it anyway. And so it took me a little bit of time to have the courage to put it up. And when I did, there were so many clicks, and I also got so many negative, sarcastic, mean comments, like what I should be wearing or how I'm good in faking it. And now I have disabled the comments because it's just too upsetting. And people who don't know me attacking me, people who don't understand, people who expect me to reply to them immediately many times. And it's just very inappropriate and too overwhelming. So when we put out things like that of a sexual nature, I think we get people who are very uncomfortable and unaware, sometimes attacking us, and that was very triggering for me, actually.
But it was tremendous. It was tremendously brave and so loving. And you, when it comes to sexuality, cannot please everybody. And from my point of view, I don't desire to please everybody, but it's your truth, and it's a beautiful truth, and it's a wonderful video. And thank you for sharing it.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah. So I first learned about orgasmic yoga when I did the sexological bodywork, as I mentioned, and when I knew that. So we had all this homework to do. It's really the hardest thing I've ever done in my life, and so we were encouraged to do it for 30 minutes for 30 days, if not 7 days, if not at least 3 days. So I just did it like 1 or 2 days, and then I just kind of like brushed it away. And when I was going through my second divorce, a friend of mine actually reminded me that, Martha, you're a sexologist. You shouldn't shut down your sexuality. You mustn't shut it down. That's the biggest gift that you can give to other people in your work. You must do orgasmic yoga. So I took her advice on board. I did it for 30 minutes for 30 days. And it felt so good. I did it for 1.5 months. And it changed me completely. It changed my energy. I was glowing. People were staring at me on the streets. And it's like the first time in my life, seriously. And that's when I started to really get into how powerful orgasmic yoga is. So I've done this maybe 4 or 5 times, like 4 or 5 rounds of it, each time at least 30 days. And I have been documenting it in one way or another. There was one time I did it in like a video, and the last 2 times I did it in written form in Orgasmic Yoga, the book Facebook group. And each time I'm doing it, it's actually deepening my relationship with myself, and I have become more sensitive in my body. I am feeling a lot more energetic, and my energy is just radiating off my body when I do orgasmic yoga. And like I mentioned just now, I have all this creativity and abundance coming in whenever I do it. So I strongly recommend orgasmic yoga as a life-changing experience. Is there anything else you guys like to add?
Yeah, so I know that we're supposed to have started our journey on the 22nd of this month, but I started a little early because of Masturbation May, which we can talk about or link to separately. But I wanted to try doing this in conjunction rather than just having a masturbation practice, which I have a fairly regular off and on practice anyways. To actually spend the time to do orgasmic yoga. And it's interesting to me, starting to have a little resistance around it and still making space and giving myself permission to show up in whatever way I'm able to that night or that time that I'm doing it. And at least be able to sit there and breathe, do Kegels, whatever, and just let whatever come up, come up. It doesn't always have to be more of a masturbation sort of a session. It could be kind of anything. The point being that you're taking the time, you're breathing and just seeing how you are in that moment for those 30 minutes. So that you can, it's just interesting. And also journaling and writing into the Orgasmic Yoga, the book, Facebook page. It's kind of a way to hold myself accountable, even if I am dragging my feet a little bit. You can read about that. I'm very transparent. So it's really cool, and people validate your experience, or they validated my experience as well. it's vulnerable, even though I do this work and I share, and I have my monthly workshops so far that I've been doing the past 6-7 months. It's different to be able to show up with people who maybe you don't know or anything, but all still sort of supporting each other, and be seen. It's really fascinating. And I look forward to seeing how many more days left. But that's my little intention goal for myself, is to do 30 or the whole month of May.
Great. Yeah, it's good that you started 1st of May. And we're doing it 22nd of May because I just finished another round and I wanted a little bit of break before that. Yeah. And
I hear that.
so the first week of Orgasmic Yoga, you will have a lot of resistance coming up. And it's just trusting the process and just doing it regardless of what you're feeling. When I was doing it for 1.5 months for 30 minutes every day, I was doing it with a vibrator. And at some point it got so painful because my vagina was sore. And so I just turned off the vibrator and I still did it. And if I can do it when I'm going through so much pain in my body, because I was determined to work on myself, then really anyone can.
Yeah, and I think I heard the word menu come up. You said gourmet versus fast food. I really like that analogy. I use that sort of menu analogy when I talk to my students. How it's like you can have, a burger all the time, but maybe you want a steak, maybe you want a salad, maybe you want whatever. It's just, expanding your menu more scientifically, the neuroplasticity you mentioned, just learning these different pathways to pleasure. And awareness and mindfulness and embodiment, rather than just like sticking to this one, creating a rut. Why? Don't do it. Expand. Have more options.
That's great.
Absolutely. And choice is fabulous, but one of the things that is really important throughout the whole process is a compassionate heart towards yourself, to honor yourself. Yes, you do need to push yourself from time to time, but you do it from your heart, in a heartfelt way, and be kind to yourself. And one of the great gifts also I've got from this is just being able to connect to my body and notice what my body actually feels like, and tune to that. And slowly, bit by bit, I'm learning to play a tune on my body, that my body is a musical instrument. And I just don't mean one part of it. I mean my whole body is a musical instrument, which I'm learning to play.
Beautiful. I sometimes use the analogy of a car. If you want to be a good driver, you really need to know the parts of the car. You need to know what part works and how it works. And the only way you can do that is by spending lots of time with your car. So if our body is like a vehicle, then we get so good at it. We know every single sensation comes from where and what part and what it means. Then we really begin to show up in a very different way. People who take the time to love themselves are just that much more present and lovely and radiant and vibrant and juicy and yummy and successful. And that's all that we want. So this is the reason why people show up in different ways, because they actually have done other work that makes a difference, that a lot of us just look and wonder, oh yeah, she's just born that way. No, we do work on ourselves. I mean, all three of us are educators, and all three of us are saying that we are doing orgasmic yoga and it's helping us, and we are encouraging and inviting you to do it as well.
Absolutely. And it's not always easy, but you show up and you do, as John said, you honor where you're at in the moment. No pressure, but taking the time and spending the time, I think, is key.
Yeah, and taking my music analogy a little bit further, if you want to play in a fabulous orchestra or a fantastic band, you need to practice. You need to practice playing your instrument. And when you can play your own instrument, you can join others and have a fabulous jam and make wonderful music.
I love it.
Learn to play your instrument before you join a band, and you get so much more pleasure.
Are you writing notes, Victoria?
I literally am. I have my pen and my pad ready.
Yeah, we have all these little nuggets of wisdom that we learn from time to time, that we just pick it up so that we can be better educators. And I respect you for taking notes.
I just in case, got to be prepared.
Okay, so let's talk about how people can do orgasmic yoga, because I'm sure some of them who are watching this, they might be persuaded, okay, fine, I'll just give it a go. Maybe if you can give them some tips or ideas of how they can do it in different ways.
I find the most important thing is to have an intention before you start on the program. What is it you would like to achieve over the 30 days? It could be something like to experiment in outside of your regular routine. And I would actually encourage people to do something different. But it might be to connect more spiritually. It might be to connect with your heart. It might be to connect with a sense of joy and fun. It might be all of those things. But whatever it is, have an intention and a focus from day one.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I would echo that. You can have a daily intention. You can have an overall intention of, like, the main intention is to stick through it. Another intention could be around your breath. Yeah, heart connection. It's also yummy. Or connecting to any of your chakras if you're feeling blocked or something and spending time there. Making, a commitment to move. If you have like a playlist, I know having music helps me, to at least get up and dance for one song. That's really challenging, to also pleasure yourself while you're standing or not in your usual position. So these are just some ideas. Staying with your breath, because the more you breathe, the more you feel. Playing around with different sorts of breath. Yeah, these are the things I recommend in my classes. And I tell my students when I'm going through my spiel, if you're looking for like an actual yoga time to do the downward whatever, you're not going to get that in my class. You're welcome to do those if you're more yogically inclined. I am not. But I encourage people to stretch and move around and use all of themselves.
Beautiful. Yes, I find that music really helps. What I was doing at one point was, I knew like maybe these 5 songs would be 30 minutes and this would be my timer, instead of putting like an alarm, which would be really jarring. And I would do it in different ways. So I would do it, first I would start the session by asking my body what my body feels like doing. And often I then realized why my body wanted to do it in a different way. So like maybe I would be on my knees or having my back supported. And then I realized, oh, it's because I was standing a lot that day and that's what my body was telling me. So I didn't need to analyze it. But when I listened to my body and then I thought about it later, it totally made sense why my body wanted that. And I found that of all the things that you can do with orgasmic yoga, like Victoria mentioned, you can add in your pelvic floor squeezes, your kegels. You can be very intentional in your breath, in your sound, in your movement, in your touch. You can do all those things, but the one that was the most triggering for me was actually doing it in front of the mirror. So you masturbate in front of the mirror, you look at yourself the way your lover would look at you. And it's triggering because we often look at ourselves with a lot of judgment, and we think that we're ugly when we're having sex, and we don't have a lot of compassion for ourselves. And while orgasmic yoga does help you get there, looking at yourself in the mirror is a lot more triggering. So I really like doing that. I also like using a vibrator with it. I don't have a big vibrator. I just have a small one. However, that really helps me if I'm feeling lazy to move sensation through my body. I even found myself once putting my vibrator against my jaw because I was having a headache. I was in my head and I was just feeling stuck up there. And so that helped to loosen things and help me be more connected with my body. So the many things we can do. People ask me often, what can we do with a vibrator? You can literally do anything with a vibrator. Just do what feels good.
Mm-hmm. One note of caution, if it doesn't have a base, don't put it in your butt. That's what I will say about that, because without a base, without a trace, don't be that person that shows up in the ER and has to be like, I slipped and fell. So, externally maybe okay, but just be cautious. But yeah, I have a magic wand type. I'm not here to promote anything, but using it like along your chakras helps kind of like also refocus and just see how things feel. Massagers, they're meant to massage like your body, your see what feels good all over. If it's too intense, I know you could do it through your clothes or have like a blanket over you or what have you, but just playing around with sensation all over.
And one of the things I would say is to bring your passions outside of your sexual energy into your practice. So, for example, if you're a meditator, bring your meditative practice into connecting with the sexual energy. If you've got a passion for music, then play your favorite music. Mm-hmm. And maybe play some music which you're not familiar with and see how that changes your practice. Look at the world around you and how you interact with it and bring that into your practice. That we have 5 senses. Use your 5 senses in your practice. Have you ever licked your arm whilst doing orgasmic yoga? If you haven't, give it a go.
Oh, it's brilliant. I'm gonna have to do that. That's on the docket for the night. But engaging your senses, if you can have, a scented candle, or I sometimes will spray perfume, and scent is one of the senses that's so closely tied to memory. So it's not that you need to like spend time and like go through all those memories or fantasies or anything, but just like let that feeling of like whatever the scent triggers, maybe it takes you back to a time, whether it's joyous or full of sorrow. Stay with it. You can be in this energy at the same time as exploring pleasure and expansive sorts of sensations, because we're multidimensional, right? Pleasure doesn't just have to be only around joy. I've had people have kind of emotional breakthroughs, breakdowns, whatever you want to call it, and tears and laughter and moaning and groaning and all of it. It's this delicious spectrum. And yeah, we're multidimensional creatures. Show up as your whole self.
Beautiful.
Thank you. So any last words that we want to share with the people who are watching this, inviting them to join us on the 22nd of May? Look up Orgasmic Yoga, the book, and you can join us. We'll be documenting our journey, and you can learn, you can participate, you can be a silent observer, and you can also get my book, Orgasmic Yoga, if you really want to learn a lot more. And there's lots of content out there at the new School of Erotic Touch. You can start watching some of Joseph Kramer's erotic videos. Mm-hmm. Any last words?
Yeah. Those are all great recommendations. You also mentioned Barbara Carlos's Urban Tantra. I feel like that's a really good gateway into Tantra, especially if you've had sort of less than stellar experiences around that practice. I particularly like that book because it's gender neutral. You can be whatever genders and whatever orientations. And it is kind of for on the go. There mixes in a little bit of science stuff, so it's not just all woo-woo all the time. So I think that was a really good one. But join us on the journey. Show up, be vulnerable. You don't have to share in the group, but you're welcome to look at other people's journeys as well. And if you can journal even just privately on your own, I think it's always good to look back on where you were and where you are.
Yeah, and don't be afraid to ask us questions along the way. And if you don't want to participate in the forum, you can still ask us questions and we'll do our best to answer it. But at the same time, dip your toe in. Don't be afraid to get your foot wet and give it a go. It really is amazing and life-changing. So I just really encourage you to have a go. You don't have to share openly, but do have a go. It is a wonderful practice. And I suspect if you stick with it, your life will never be the same.
Okay, so I just want to do a quick run through. What you do in Orgasmic Yoga, you put aside the time and then you set the intention for the 30 days or for the day, and then you do it. And you give yourself the last 5 minutes to just lie in stillness. That's a big part of it, which I have to admit I have forgotten until I saw some of Victoria's posts, and I was like, oh, I should have done. Probably didn't do enough of it. Yeah. So that's how you do Orgasmic Yoga.
Mm-hmm. And I'd say the 5 minutes of silent savoring or stillness at the end can sometimes be the most challenging, whether you're doing the solo or in group. It's just, you're going and doing all these things, and then you have to kind of sit there and just be for a while. Other things also come up during that time. So, be gentle on yourself, and all of it's okay. Just breathe. Just breathe.
And that final 5 minutes is fantastic for just noticing what's present. And in the past, I've used that 5 minutes practice to start thinking about my day. And that is not the idea of it. The idea of it is just to focus on what you're feeling in the moment. And it's a fantastic meditative element to the practice. So, yeah, it really, really important.
Great. Okay, so let's do a last shout out for what we are offering.
Sure. I am having a 3-evening mini series, and we can link it down below somehow. Up in Sacramento, California. If you're in Northern California, I'd love to have you. I'm making sure to interview folks who apply so that we can keep the safe container, and it's not just kind of walking off the street and suddenly joining us. We want everyone to be there to have sort of the same intentions and be there for the right reasons, right? So it's a 3-evening in a row Orgasmic Yoga mini series, and I'm really looking forward to facilitating that up in Sacramento in June.
Thank you.
I'm intending to do something similar to Victoria up in Manchester. It's not located yet, and I'm just looking for some premises to do it in. But once that's known, I'll be advertising the same. But the most important thing for me in any practice which is in a group is the safety of the group, and just making sure that everyone can truly relax into the process and be with themselves, but within the collective energy. So I too will be talking to people prior to that, rather than let people walking in off the street too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so as for me, I don't run circles because in my work, I don't do touch or nudity. However, I am very open to sharing my experiences that are personal. And I have the Orgasmic Yoga, the book group on Facebook. And that's where we have been posting our blog posts, our daily practice reflections. And I am happy to support people there. And I also have my second book, Orgasmic Yoga, that people can purchase to really learn more. And there are practitioners out there like Victoria or John who are able to also offer masturbation coaching, which I don't. And you guys definitely should check out our websites. So I can be found on eroscoaching.com and Victoria.
Sexologist Vixen, VIXENNE.com.
And me on nurturebytouch.co.uk.
And so that's it for today. So thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.